Hi, Megan. How are you?
Hey, Ranjeet, I'm great. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Nice to have you.
Yes, thanks. Are you ready to answer a few more questions for us here?
Absolutely. Let's
Okay,
shoot.
let's get started. So today's featured question is, how does USCIS evaluate the final merits determination for an EB1A petition? And what key elements should be emphasized to strengthen this part of the case?
Wonderful. Let's go back to a little basic here. When, what is final merit determination? That initially the law says that, oh, you need to fulfill 3 out of 10 criteria. And many people who come to us believe that, oh, they fulfill two and three are only what is required. But when it comes to adjudication of EB1A petitions, it's not enough. Fundamentally, let's understand the criterias are just a metrics or criterias are levers to prove your sustained acclaim, which is the most important thing. And essentially, you're trying to tell the US government that I'm an expert in a particular field or discipline. Number two, that expertise is beneficial to the US. And third thing is you will continue in that field of endeavor. So fundamentally, you get EB1A only because of these three things. The criteria are just levers to prove it. Now you fulfill the criteria. I have even seen people getting 8 criteria approved yet getting rejected. It's so why then somebody would ask that why what is USCIS looking for in that particular case? Now there is a concept. There are three concepts that fall into place here. Let's understand. There is something called as sustained acclaim. Number two, there is second concept is totality, and third concept is final merit determination. Now let's break down these three and let's in a very brief manner, and I think that will bring a clarity to this particular question, answer to the question. Number one is sustained acclaim means one of the factors is time, that how much time that you have been doing, how much is the intensity, and what is the impact factor of your work. So these are, it's not temporal necessarily that, oh, fine, I have been doing. So many people ask us that, oh, I've been kind of not been part of, say, I've been doing this for 1 year. Will USCIS question me? Yes, they can question you, but time factor is only one component of it. The intensity and the output. It's like saying that somebody getting a Nobel Prize today and applying for tomorrow, for EB1A. Will USCIS say, oh, you got Nobel Prize yesterday? So because the sustainability has to be inbuilt into it, into the work that you do. So that's the first thing. The second is totality. So finally, even whether you fulfill two criteria, three criteria, four criteria, what are you proving exactly by something? Somebody says, I've been doing judging, I got critical role, I got salary, I have this, blah, 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 whatever. But at the end of the day, are you proving that are you able to prove rather that you are in the top 1% of your field? That's the totality. And the last is final merit determination. So you have proved your sustainability, you have proved everything. Now, what exactly have you established at the end of the day? That's how the final merit determination comes. The final merit determination is a more of an adjudication process which got evolved by a case law called Kazarian, actually. So there was a particular case, Kazarian, where the kind of judiciary had come out with a particular aspect saying that they would kind of, after you fulfill your initial criteria, which is a basic requirement, the totality is sustained acclaimed and the final merit will be assessed, and that's how it is. So just to summarize, there are three components of any EB1A petition. First is fulfilling the criteria, and then comes the sustainability, totality, and final merit. Sustained acclaimed is through legislation. Totality is more of a procedural and regulatory requirement. And the last but not the least, final merit determination comes from the judiciary and by virtue of a case law. I hope that
Wonderful.
answers the question.
Yes, very thorough. Thank you so much.
Megan, there is a gentleman called Jeevan. I would
Okay, wonderful.
kind of suddenly, I think I will take one more question and then request. I hope he has a good question. So I'm going to ask Jeevan to come on the stage, but we will let one question so that he's ready with the question. So, Jeevan, if you are listening to us, please be ready with your question and we will get you on the stage. But we'll just give you at least few moments to be ready with the question. Okay.
Great.
So, yes.
Yeah. So, next question. How and where do you use editorial board members of journals? Could you explain how they are used in the petition? Is it under membership or in final merits?
Well, As I said, that final merit is not a criteria. I just answered that question. Final merit is a sum total of everything. You can use in final merit also, but essentially, editorial board members, I would not like to use it. In fact, I was the one of the editorial board members of some particular journal. I would rather use this in a judging criteria,
Mhm.
not necessary, because basically you are, and what work that you did, how you did, I think that needs to get crystal clear. So rather than just saying that you were, remember one thing, that no matter what the criteria is, if you are applying for EB1A, but just touch points, it's like this, you don't have to just show that you touch the water. You actually, even swimming is not sufficient, even snorkeling is not sufficient, you need to do scuba diving. I mean, I always like to tell this to my students. So what does it mean? That if you have been an editorial board member, so you are essentially judging a lot of criterias. You are not criterias for EB1A, but kind of uh, judging some articles to be published. So, who were the articles? What were the? What is the impact factor of the journal? How good it is? How many are the readers? What was the? Is there some kind of an acclaim that you have achieved by virtue of being a judge or being an editor? So these are the components that you should be able to also prove to USCIS, and that would make your case much stronger.
Excellent.
Wonderful. So I will ask this gentleman to be on the stage even. So let's see if he has any question, and then we will move to other questions. So hi Jeevan, how are you?
Hi Ranjeet, I'm good.
Wonderful. Nice to
Thank
see
you
you.
for
Wonderful.
thank you for giving the opportunity here. So yeah, I
Wonderful.
was just as like saw your this email notification that yeah this seminar is happening. So even I like had a couple of questions on the criteria related to like how this in recent days this online media can be used for showcasing as an evidence of your our like eligibility for EB1 criteria, like in terms of my technical background. So I have so how generally like
Can you
current
be more specific about your question, and we'll try to answer that?
I mean certain criteria everyone says that we have to showcase that we have our original like contribution in this field where we are
Wonderful.
working. Like
Wonderful.
I'm from belongs to technology background. So the fields we are working, or we have some authorship of our like articles which we published or any material we published. So I was just finding like the ways how that to be done. So is there a way like this current online platforms also can be considered as a like a source of evidence? Like I saw
Definitely.
many people, yeah,
Definitely.
push
In
whatever.
2022, in
Yeah.
2022, USCIS had come out with a policy, amendment, or you call it a policy clarification, which said that even an online, any publication by an, or even if you give a speech, an online, say, podcast, even that can potentially be used for EB1A. But the most important thing is always remember, for the purpose of EB1A, you need to demonstrate the impact factor of the work that you have done. Let us say you write an article in a, let's say, D Zone or some kind of a publication, you do that. uh, well, what was the impact of the work? That what is the expertise, that the common thread that binds between all the criterias for you, for that will help you get EB1A, would be what is your expertise, and how whatever work that you are talking about is fulfilling that expertise. Does that make sense?
Okay. So it
So
has to be like any like original work which we do as part of our job, or just like nowadays in technology things, so many innovations or new things are coming up. So I see a lot many people like just to spread the knowledge about new things on over the LinkedIn, like they publish so many like news or something. So,
LinkedIn may
which
not
do we need
be.
to start with that, or no? I mean, just any white paper or any technical papers should give more weightage, or just look kind of a people like who are like following you on the LinkedIn, so that also gives a weightage to our case.
Well, LinkedIn may not be a very good idea just for the sake of it. Actually, if it is just one of the things apart from other several other things that could be utilized. But having said this, you mentioned about something. You see, any origin. Let us say there are specific criteria by which you prove your expertise. Okay, Now, if your, let us say, original contribution gets manifested in two ways. First is that you have done some work in your company, and
Mhm.
that has a very powerful impact outside your company also. So that could be deemed as an original contribution. It could be, yes, white papers can play a very major role. We have had some many students who have used white papers and they got their EB1A approved also. Also,
Okay.
it could be a scholarly article, and yes, online medium is permitted because USCIS has been very proactive and very, you know, very enterprising. Let me put it that way, from the perspective of looking at innovations
Mhm.
and doing things in a very innovative way. So yes, it is possible. Since you are at the starting of your journey, I would suggest that you may like to look at some material. You may like to look at some literature that we have. You can just send your contact details to us, either to Megan or I, and somebody would be getting in touch with you, and we'll kind of give you some more literature or more videos to watch about EB1A, and that will possibly help you. And just briefly tell me about your background.
I mean, working as a technology kind of lead. It's in the like Java cloud technology. So over having 15 plus years of experience
Oh,
so far
wonderful.
in
And are you
technology
a
space.
master's or an undergraduate?
No, I'm graduate only.
Wonderful. We even
Yeah.
had, people for EB1A. I always tell people that it's not about your job, business title, company, or qualifications that matter. We
Yeah.
have had people who were even undergraduates and got their EB1A approved.
Okay. So is
Definitely,
there any advanced certifications or
no,
anything we
no,
need to focus on? No? Okay. Okay.
nothing. In fact, for the purpose of EB1A, and what's your current legal status right now in the USA?
I'm on H1B as of now.
Yes. So, I mean, I think we have had a couple of folks.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just need to have, I think for your EB1A, I think what I have also seen is self confidence and preparedness. There may be a journey, may be long, hard,
Mm-hmm.
and tough, but definitely, you have your EB2 approved.
EB2, I'm just on the 140 file, so just on H1B. So
Okay. So,
I'm
still,
not on green card. Yeah.
so even if you get your EB2 approved for your green card, the wait period, yeah, I beg your pardon. You're saying something?
No, not from me.
Okay, so there would be, even if you get your EB2 approved in next 1 year, still the wait period would be at least 2 decades for you. But if you apply for EB1A green card, even considering the delay in the priority dates, you may get in 1 or 2 years. But yes, the amount of efforts that will be required, and we have a program called Next League program. We always tell people that use this opportunity to become the best version of yourself, where we put you in a success path where EB1A becomes a milestone for you. But yes, you have 15 years experience, so we need to carve out some kind of a contour points. We have to create a contour that, okay, fine, if you have achieved something in 15 years, somebody has been paying you in USA, you are in a specialty occupation for so many years, somebody is definitely, there is some value that you have created. We have to pick up that value and then connect the dots and then create a persuasive story and then fit them into, try to accommodate them into criteria. Fit is not a good word. Accommodate them into criteria to make a very strong case for you. And there are people who started off from completely from the scratch, and they have been able to achieve their American dream by getting their EB1A, kind of green card, of becoming to that actually. So uh, I feel the thought, if it has come to your mind, you just have to kind of make it into realization. So get in touch with us. We'll give you some material, and if
Mhm.
you see a mutual fitness, we'll be happy to help you out.
Yeah, sure, Ranjit. Definitely.
Okay. So wish
Thank
you
you
all
so
the best,
much.
and thank you for
Yeah,
joining here,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thanks.
and wish you have a
See you
wonderful
soon.
day. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. So that was Jeevan asking, I think, on this kick starting their journey in the beginning. So wonderful. So if there's somebody else, if anyone of you wants to kind of reach out to us, seek help, we'll be more than happy to help you guys. And we today, in fact, yesterday we got one more achiever. So today we have, as of now, the next week program in the last 1.5 years has helped over 36 people becoming EB1 achievers and more in the pipeline. So
Isn't that fantastic?
congratulations to all the EB1 achievers, and all wish you all the best to all potential achievers. So wonderful.
Yeah,
So let's take
absolutely.
one last question, Megan, for the day.
Okay, sounds good. All right, the next one is how many criteria should one aim to meet in order to create a strong case for EB1A And how many recommendation letters?
Well, I mean, as I said, that I'd never like to look at from looking at somebody at a uh, criteria centric approach. Let me tell you, the criteria are just levers to prove. I mean, statutorily, you need to meet minimum three, but if you can prove that you are an expert in the top of your field by just using those three criteria, is very good. But it's very then the intensity of your work has to be of a extremely high order. Let's get that. Uh, Typically, good lawyers have been suggesting that you go for at least five, if not more. So that has been, if you are still looking from a criteria, that just ways to prove your extraordinary ability. And recommendation letters, it all depends on, let us say, normally you would get for a critical role, you will have to prove establish your critical role, if your original contribution, how deep it is. So normally people have been taking anywhere from 4 to 5 letters to 8 to 10 letters. I mean, that has been a normal trend actually. So that's how things are. But I again don't like to kind of look at the questions. I mean, look at the criterias as a sole metric. I just like to use that as a more as a lever to prove your expertise. I again repeat, for the purpose of your EB1A, you need to prove three things. The first is you are an expert in the best of your field. Number two is your expertise is beneficial to the USA, and you need to prove how it is beneficial. And last but not the least is that you will continue in your field of expertise. So if you are able to articulate these three things, whether by you use three criteria, four criteria, five criteria, eight criteria, so you need nine criteria, so that's absolutely fine. But mind you, I again, there's a caution here I would like to give, that there are people whom I've seen having fulfilled even eight criteria, we have seen rejections coming through. So just bear that in mind, and wish you all the best, everybody, guys. And thank you, Megan, for having me. And
Yes.
if there are any more questions, please write to Megan and I. And if you want to join the program, please DM to us. We'll be happy to help you guys. And have a wonderful day.
Till next time.
Bye bye. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream.